Not even a full day after the second Eagles preseason game, and Howie Roseman is out here making moves. Howie Roseman is not wasting any time, but this move is confusing, concerning, but I actually like it.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope it's on a fantastic day today. So we have a lot to discuss. I mean, it just seems like things are just never ending. And in Howie Roseman in an offseason like this, where you're coming off the second preseason game, you have the season in a couple weeks, and you're running out of time to do things. But Howie Roseman, once again, dealing with these trades, doing things that he normally does in August, and Howie Roseman made a trade, and it looks like the Eagles did send Harrison Bryant, the tight end, over to the Texans and a 5th-round pick, and the Eagles get back a 6th-round pick and wide receiver John Mechi. Now, the interesting thing about this trade is that the Eagles actually gave the Texans their 5th-round pick back for the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade, and the Texans gave back the Eagles their 6th-round pick from the Chauncey Gardner trade. So, realistically, this was a third-day pick swap, which, you know, the Eagles just got their pick back, so why not? It's actually really funny to me because not only were the Eagles involved in this trade, but the Eagles beat the San Francisco 49ers in trying to acquire John Mechi, and the Eagles just came up with a better deal. Now, obviously, you're dealing Harrison Bryant, the tight end, that was on a 1-year deal for the Philadelphia Eagles this year, and you're starting tight ends at this point. You're keeping 3 of them. It's going to be Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra, and Kylan Granson. And it looks like the Texans actually lost one of their tight ends about 6 or 7 days ago to a torn ACL. So I guess they needed somebody in this trade. Did you see John Mechi and Derek Stingley Jr. last week at camp, where John Mechi burned the crap out of him on 2 reps on these one-on-ones? That's been going viral like crazy. We know John Mechi has a lot of talent. John Mechi has been dealt a really bad hand of life, okay? Really going to the draft, torn ACL, rookie year, diagnosed with leukemia. I mean, it's a tremendous story. Him to come back, and when the Texans needed him last year, early in the year, I think it was for the Bills game where Texans receivers were going down, he took over, played in a couple playoff games as well with like 2 catches for 60-something yards. So he's got starting capability. He's got explosiveness off the line. I mean, he's pretty damn good. If you want to revive his career with the Philadelphia Eagles on a 1-year deal, this is the place to be. Now, there's so many wide receivers now. This is your 7th wide receiver. What are you going to do? Who's going to make the team? First, let's go over the second preseason game because I kind of went over the snap count for some of these players. Now, it looks like Johnny Wilson only had 8 snaps in that game. I knew I didn't see him for a long time, and I figured since he's got low snap count, he is a lock for the roster. Now, Terrace Marshall had 33 snaps in this game at 70%, and this is the story of Terrace Marshall. The guy can't stay healthy for 1 season, and 24 was really, realistically, his only healthy year. He came back from this injury during Eagles camp, was able to play in this preseason game, but I just don't think it's enough for him. Now, Anaya Smith had 18 snaps in this game, had a touchdown, had a few passes thrown his way, which is good. He's had a big year 2 compared to his year 1, especially staying healthy in this offseason program. So that's interesting. Now, Darius Cooper actually had 32 offensive snaps in this game. I mean, I barely even saw him. So why are the Eagles giving him a ton of snaps? Now, he did play special teams. He was the other kick returner, probably playing a lot of special teams and gunner and things like that. But apparently he was in a lot of plays. I didn't see much thrown his way. And why the Eagles give him a lot of reps? Probably because they want to see more from him, but I would say he's a lock, and especially if they're already moving him to special teams, he's got to be a lock, right? Now you're thinking, okay, you trade for John Mechi, so if he makes the team, how many receivers are they realistically keeping? Are they keeping only 5 because you got to keep Mechi? You have to keep Darius Cooper. Are you keeping 6? And if that's the case, you're keeping Mechi, you're keeping Cooper, and I think it's going to come down to Johnny Wilson, or it's going to come down to Anaya Smith, both of them together for that last spot. Or the Eagles are going to take one of those receivers in Johnny Wilson and Anaya Smith and put him on that fake IR and shelve that player for a few weeks. This way, nobody can pry them off the practice squad. Nobody is waiting for the Eagles to waive this player or release this player. There's just not enough. And I really want to keep Johnny Wilson. I really want to keep Darius Cooper. There's no doubt about it. Receiver hasn't been the biggest need in this camp. That's why this move is so out of nowhere from Howie Roseman. But what is behind this move? There are 3 speculated ideas I have in my back pocket of why they made this move. Number 1, A.J. Brown re-injured his hamstring and won't play in this first game, and they feel John Mechi could start day 1, take over some games. Is A.J. Brown going to be on the IR? Because if you look at it, before the joint practice with the Browns, A.J. Brown was starting to work out. He was doing some sprints. He was jogging a little bit. He was doing a lot of things, like he was fully coming back soon. And then when we hit joint practices, A.J. Brown was in shorts. He was in a T-shirt. He really wasn't doing much of anything. No pads, no jogging, no light sprints, no type of individual work. So I came up with the rumor that A.J. Brown's hurt. Number 2, John Mechi is purely a depth move at wide receiver. Okay, so you have Mechi as the number 4. You have Darius Cooper as the number 5. And then it's Johnny Wilson and Anaya Smith for 6. So are they keeping 6? Are they just keeping 5? Is Johnny Wilson and Anaya Smith in competition on the bubble? But the snaps don't really match in that second game to this trade, so I'm not really getting that whole situation. Now, number 3, this one has got to be the most interesting one. What if Jahan Dotson is getting traded? I mean, it kind of makes sense because this is the last year for Jahan Dotson and wants to get paid. And maybe he went to the Eagles and said, look, like, I need to start as a number 1B or a number 2 for another team. I need to get my money. And I know the ball's going to Saquon. The ball's going to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. Like, what chance do I have to be that productive to get a big contract for the 2026 offseason? I think that makes a lot of sense, too. But if Jahan Dotson didn't ask for a trade here, they could be using Dotson as trade bait to maybe trade for a corner. Even though I like Ja'Cory Bennett, they should start in week 1. But what if they're trying to trade for a corner? What if they're using Jahan Dotson as trade bait for an edge rusher trade or something like that? You know, I think that's another thing that could possibly happen. Or are they pretty much saying, hey, let's trade Jahan Dotson, get a good pick for him, and then maybe use that compensation if it's not a player-for-player trade. Use the compensation you get for him and try to trade for somebody. And yes, John Mechi's on the last year of his deal. He's a little over $2 million against the cap, which really isn't that bad. But I think exploring options to re-sign a wide receiver 3, I think you have a better chance in doing it with John Mechi because he doesn't really have the statistics the last few years like Jahan Dotson does. Maybe they're taking advantage of the situation. I mean, the only bad thing about this is that if Jahan Dotson is eventually moved, it's going to really suck because finally, like, him and Hurts have a trust with each other where Hurts is going to trust throwing to him this year. This is a big year for Dotson on a contract year, and we kind of really need him. And if you start John Mechi at wide receiver 3, he's going to be doing what Jahan Dotson dealt with in the 24 season, playing catch up the entire year. And honestly, that might be the plan. Howie Roseman loves players that dealt with adversity. And let me tell you, John Mechi has dealt with a lot of adversity in his life so far, especially entering the NFL. Howie Roseman likes to connect players to other players that have a lot of familiarity with each other, especially if they played on the same team or they're good friends or whatever. He loves to see that chemistry. So if I was to give you an answer on what they're going to do here, honestly, I have no idea. It's so out of nowhere. I don't even know what to say about it. And after this trade went down, Jordan Schultz came out with another tweet that I thought was really interesting, pretty much saying, text from an AFC GM. Don't think Eagles are done with trades. They have so many picks next year, and that team is always going to be aggressive. Now, this isn't necessarily saying the Eagles are going to make another trade, but I feel like this small move is going to become a big move, and possibly you could be moving another player in the coming days. So eyes open, because Howie Roseman, it's his time. Oh, let me know what you guys think about this, because this has got a lot interesting. Now, there was more news from Jordan Schultz as well and from Ian Rappaport that it looks like Trey Hendrickson, it looks like they're obviously going to be listening to offers for him. Now, I'm not on that Trey Hendrickson trade. For a guy that's 30 years old wanting $30+ million as an edge rusher, the Eagles are not in the market for that. There has been a few teams interested. The Eagles were not listed as that team. It was Panthers, Colts. There was another team that was involved so far. But as of right now, officially, Trey Hendrickson might not be getting re-signed by the Cincinnati Bengals, and they sure need him pretty badly. I'm not going to get too much into it because I feel like if the Eagles really wanted another edge rusher, I mean, you're looking for rentals at this point. The Eagles already signed Ojulari. They already have Uche, and I think Ojulari had a really good second strong game to solidify him as the number 3 tight end in the second rotation. But getting Trey Hendrickson, it's just going to cost too much. I mean, he wants an extension. The Bengals can't do it, and they're trying to find a team that's got deep pockets. The Eagles have mediocre pockets right now. They have okay pockets, but not as deep as everyone thinks it is. So I would kind of really stay away from this because it just makes no sense. Like, look, I'm not going to give up big draft capital even if the Bengals decide to pay off like half of his salary and the Eagles take on the rest and they don't extend him at all and just rent him for the year. I'm not giving up big draft capital for one guy you're renting just for 1 year. It makes no sense. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy ride. Okay, and John Mechi becoming a Philadelphia Eagle in a trade where the Eagles get their draft pick back and give away a tight end that the Eagles do not need at all. What do you guys think about John Mechi coming here? Who's off this roster? What does this mean? Is it some of the speculation? Is it because of the A.J. Brown injury? Is it a purely wide receiver depth move? Or is Jahan Dotson being moved and John Mechi going right in there? I can't handle this. Howie Roseman, you gotta stop messing with my head, messing with my life every day, because this just gets me to ask so many questions. Well, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day, and let me know your comment on the situation in the comment section below. Make sure you like the video because that helps out tremendously. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Shakes one up. Eagles fly. Peace out, guys. Howie.